This broadcast is produced because silence is complicit. I had something hard to do. I just completed it. I completed the risk management because a 4-year project. Karine Jean-Pierre said silence is complicit. She's the 35th White House press secretary who was pushed out of her job. I was also pushed out of my job at the city of Delray Beach, so I know how she feels. But Meghan Markle said, tell the right people. I don't know who the right people are. I've actually told everybody by video, and I will pay the $69 for the AI video software. However, I want to recommend Jean and Cherie. They say set yourself up for 2026. You will get the benefit of Stanford Business School MBA program and the benefit of Harvard Business School MBA program from these very articulate women. So obviously, what I am and will become using AI to generate around my thinking and my content. I really enjoy the AI. Please don't take my AI away. Real life is stranger than fiction. My sister and I are getting tools for organizing 2026. She's in New York and I'm down here in Boca Raton, so I'm pretty much isolated. But isolation is good in my situation because I am old, I'm a woman, and I'm a victim. However, we have the city synergy chart. I had to go all the way north to buy some black seed oil. So that's the synergy of that city that I can go there and get some natural holistic remedies. That's my owl. FAU's mascot is an owl, and I did get an owl. I name him Harmony. The Harmony is for the Caribbean and South America. I use Google Keep because they steal my USBs. I bought this journal at Barnes& and Noble and got this one free. It's really great to get organized. I want to recommend the shopping list. And of course, I put Changing Lives shopping list on here. I posted it on Changing Lives Boutique on Facebook because it helped me twice to get something done. And that's my calendar on my phone, which also coordinates with my Google Calendar online. So I had a failure to complete the 30-day cleanse. Yeah, I look really old in this picture, but I bought all this stuff, and I use them internally and externally, and I'm getting ready to do the cleanse again. I just went and got the black seed oil. I was trying this for the bitter diet, baby spinach and rosemary. And then the taste was so bad, I went into the avocado, bell pepper, chia seeds, and lemon. It tasted a little better than just plain baby spinach and rosemary. And then I was doing avocado, red bell pepper, chia seeds, and lemon. And then I would drink some apple juice. But I still failed. But it looks pretty good, healthy with the mushrooms on it there. The avocado, red bell pepper, chia seeds, mushrooms, lemon. But I did fail the 30-day cleanse. But I've done the 7-day cleanse about 6 times. After the Happy New Year, I would do the 7-day cleanse, no food for 7 days, but you have a detox beverage, etc. And I email it out to people. And since I could do the 7-day cleanse, I think eventually I'll do the 30-day cleanse. So my First Amendment rights were a concern to me. I tried to talk to Kamala, Maya, and Mina, the attorneys, Kamala Harris, Maya, and Mina, her Maya's daughter. They're all 3 attorneys. So I tried to talk to them because in divorce court, the AI says that when your right of the woman to speak in divorce court and her children to speak in divorce court before the judge are part of your First Amendment rights. So you have your 7th, 8th, and 9th Amendment rights. I check them on the AI and I make other videos about that situation. It is good that I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness because these men are talking about sex, drugs, and alcohol, and I'm just so glad to go up on Atlantic Avenue and have people who absolutely are keeping their conversation clean. And when I go to the city of Delray Beach, this is a beautiful view on the ocean, and the Jehovah's Witnesses are up there on Atlantic Avenue. They're at the old school square and at that courtyard. And if you just want to see what clean living is like, go up there and talk to them. So I need to encourage all the older people in the business world and those who have discouraging circumstances. I'm intrinsically motivated. You have to keep a positive attitude no matter what age you are, no matter what your circumstances. I'm inspired by all the Dakinis out there. Dr. Arikana Shimomori, outstanding scientist, doctor who became a scientist. Aisha Corey, Sandra Appiah, Kamala Harris, and Meghan Markle. Here is Kamala Harris. She talks about we cannot turn on each other and our spirit must not be defeated. She, however, said we have to be safe and have communal responsibility. She also went on a book tour to England and everything and speaks for us. She says she's with us. She said we should have truth, not misinformation. She said people are gaslighting us, and I do see some falsehood or untruths on YouTube, but YouTube cannot verify all the data. But Kamala Harris said she's with us. She said Kamala and others are with us. The women all over the world, Kamala Harris is with you. So here's some Dakinis in Lebanon. Abir El Sajir is such a beautiful woman, and I see her feeding the people. She takes food to the cars, and then this woman, she's so incredible. She's really rich, and she cooks and takes right to the poor people's door and give to the children. That's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And there are some men, like this is Tim Miller, and he was speaking with Kamala Harris. Well, Kamala Harris basically lost the election because African Americans do not like Caribbean people. They do not help us to empower ourselves, and we have to acknowledge it, and really we have to have our boundaries and our interactions with discretion. I really tell you that I graduated from FAU 2009, but I try to study the world, study the different cultures and everything like that. And so I generate videos accordingly. And the Harvard professor said, what kind of people will we be in the American culture 10 to 20 years from now? She makes a few points, and that's my concern too, because right now I'm at FAU Computer Lab, and I see the kids here, and I feel sorry for them. I like to interview people and research the Haitian culture because I said only 15 out of 85 Haitians know who John Bertrand Aristide, and he was an auditor who said that Haiti was owed $21 billion. And this is representative of FAU. And I'm concerned about Gen Z, the people from 13 to 28. Will they be happy? And I want to tell you, I spoke to some of the kids, and I see the volatility and the vulnerability. So what I do sometimes is look at people, guess what their ethnicity is, and then I ask what they are. Some people don't want to be involved in that, but I try to figure out the conflicts in the United States because people say a lot of stuff, and when I was really really wealthy, when I got my dream house and everything, I would go out on Palm Beach, and I noticed that the really rich people don't talk a lot, but the really poor talk a lot, and that I guess that's the only power or creativity they have. But we have to create value. And Dr. Jordan Peterson is on Facebook. He left Canada and came here. He said, be literate and compelling. There's Dr. Jordan Peterson. Since I'm a global business mentor, I decide to promote one really good business each week. And John Miller, who is a close friend of Jennifer Garner, who was married to Ben Affleck. We have Jennifer Lopez with Ben Affleck, then Ben Affleck marries Jennifer Garner, then Jennifer Garner has a friend, John Miller. He's the CEO of Cali Group, and those robots, that's the first robot restaurants. So the high school kids and the college kids won't be able to work in restaurants like they usually do. Some used to have a part-time job in McDonald's while going to high school, or a part-time job in a restaurant while going to college. So Bernie Sanders already warned us that the working class would be replaced, and this is the robot worker. And I remember I said to my sister, we used to not be able to talk to each other because a person would have the Bluetooth in his ear, so we can't talk to each other. And now the robots are going to be doing all the talking. So, and this is the military robot. Why United States military cannot be beat is because they have a big robot, bigger than an armored vehicle, and a person goes inside it and attacks you. You can't have any defense against that. I want to shout out to Aisha and her four babies. We admire Aisha. She was slaughtered in the media for a little bit, and her husband told her all of it is not real, so she shouldn't take it seriously. But it happens, and I just think Ryla is the prettiest little thing. When she was first born, she had these little blonde, fuzzy hair. She was so pretty. I still watch Riley, and I watch Aisha and her restaurant power and stuff. So I heard somebody use the expression people living rent free in my brain. And Karen Jean Pierre, the 35th White House Secretary, said that. And I just left a place where I had lunch and people say stuff to me. I mean, people talk at me all the time. And when people talk at me, I now have to deflect it because if I listen to what they say and try to process it and figure it out, then they'll be living rent free in my brain. So Heads Together is for the Caribbean and South America. And I did communicate with all these countries because I was developing a thought from working in government. I have a variety of government service, whereas my mother had a lifetime of government service, and my mother just died. So I just want to tell you, you don't know what it's like. A woman who worked in government of Jamaica her whole life, and then she retired and they called her back on contract, and she worked for the government of Jamaica until she was 75. I can't top that. However, we're trying to look at what's happening in the Caribbean now. Venezuela was taken, and we want to see who can get along because, Jamaica is one love and Barbados is quiet love. So that's the right direction. So if we can get all the love in the Caribbean and South America and do trade and everything, that would be good. So here's CARICOM visiting Jamaica after the horrible hurricane. And, in the protest, they were talking about love too. So Americans do know about love, but the one love in Jamaica, I went to a third world concert, and the music and the feeling is just such an incredible feeling. So Cuba has 24,000 doctors working around the Caribbean. My dad was born in Havana, Cuba, so kudos and shout out to Cuba. They're part of the group. We're trying to get them to put their heads together and trade together. And I got this owl from Changing Lives Boutique, and I name him Harmony, but an owl is the mascot of FAU. And this is my international human rights attorney, and I think I'm talking to her secretary all the time. She's also trying to be an MP, but her mother was killed when she was 9, and her mother's body was thrown in a landfill. And she almost went crazy, and instead she became an international human rights attorney, and she also wants to be a MP. So sometimes tragedy drives people, and I have tragedy in my life that's also driving me. This is a Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica. It looks really bad, and I did email out one project to help them in Paroti and Paroti Bay. So Africa is having one digital market, and they're having Sonia, SADEX, and Digital ID in Africa. I care about the values which will be manifested by Gen Z, and I know my mother developed really good value system for us as children because what she did was she bought the house in front of the elementary school. So we just had to go across the street to school. And that's my son in Jamaica, and this is the opportunity I missed. There's his grandmother who we had an incredible synergy in Jamaica. We had a restaurant, bar, and bakery, and my grandmother ran the bar. My grandaunt would hire the other children in the family to work in the restaurant, bakery, and bar. And the synergy we had in Jamaica was such a beautiful thing. And now that my son is dead, I know that I should have left him at my mother's house to go across the street to school. It's so easy to go across the street because school is a little bit more difficult in Jamaica. So this was the school that my son tested gifted at. It's called Hagan Ranch Road Elementary School. And they offer a gifted and talent program. I guess they still do, but I just pulled this off there because nobody can make me forget the only person I really loved my whole life. I tell Haitians, teach people to ask in English, did I have a good time? If people threaten you with deportation, say, well, did I have a good time? Anyway, so you're the big man. Bill Clinton came to Boca Raton when I worked for the Boca Raton Resort and Club. I shook his hand, but he didn't look up. That's how the big men are, They have big agendas, so they don't notice the little people. Anyway, so Bill Clinton was in Jamaica, and I'm worried about the misogyny evidenced by the killing of O.J. Simpson's wife and nobody being convicted. And also, ICE just killed Renee Nicole. And also, when they were saying that Kamala Harris is a childless cat lady, I noticed the misogyny. And because I have five sisters and grew up with nine girls, I really want to fight against it. And I was just concerned that we should not make hurting each other be a part of the American culture, run people into the ground or anything like that. But it just happens that we have people being run into the ground, families being run into the ground, and whole countries being run into the ground. Like Africa, in Africa for 2 years in South Cameroon, the children did not go to school. So I'm sorry, I'm going to try not to talk about this today because I need a little more positive broadcast for January. So I just am concerned about the African paradigm of killing presidents. And President Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso had 32 assassination attempts. And President Sankara, right there in Faso, 1987, he was killed by his friend. They give them money and they'll kill a president. And Gaddafi was killed that way too. But well, Gaddafi was killed, but there's a lot of African presidents. But now that they're uniting, because Dr. Arikana Shiombori Kwa gave us the data we needed, and there's 9 people to listen to on YouTube from Africa, professors and doctors. I help Africa a little, but my main agenda is the Caribbean and South America. So I'm trying not to be negative. I put things in this broadcast, but I'm not going to talk about them. I got this little poster child in Africa. She just wants to wash up and drink water and go to school. And that's why I told the guy at the bank just now he should help Africa once a week because of people like these little children. Here's a poster child from Delray Beach. Now, this one, her mother is Jamaican and her father is American, but she got a lot of Christmas gifts. And all over the United States, they can give a lot of free stuff. She got free Christmas gifts at this event last Christmas, Christmas 2025. So she's the poster child that I pick. And I just want to say America is so rich that they can help a lot of people. So this is the second Christmas party in Delray Beach. That's my mother who died. My family, we're doing very well by email, collaborating on things, communicating, filling in the puzzle of the past and bad things which happened. We had her funeral on Zoom, but it reminded us about the value of my mother, especially she worked for the government of Jamaica her whole life. And I used to leave my high school. She sent me to a more expensive high school to study French to go to school in Canada. And I just want to say that I always knew where my mother was. And I I was not like her. I was not as good as her. But she did get stomach ulcers sometime from the stress and everything. But she was just an incredible person. And I worry about my clan, the Denton clan, that we should have generated from the synergy in Jamaica and we should have become really great so we can help the Caribbean and South America at this time. So my mother died and we did all the email planning. This is my aunt in Canada. And I had to do the AI about everything, the grief, the funeral, everything. So this is my family at the funeral, and it's so complex. Some people can learn from it, and that's why we make the videos. These are people on Zoom, Canada and New York. And World War III was mostly financial manipulations of the IMF, which Dr. Arikani Shimbori explained. But the devastation in Africa was just as devastating as World War II devastated Germany. So World War IV is about relationships and trade. And we can really see it because the United States and China are fighting about the relationships, which countries will be with each other and which will be sanctioned or allowed to trade with each other, or who is getting tariffs and everything. So the World War IV, we need to watch and not ignore is relationships and trade. And we see that what's happening in Venezuela evolved very clearly. And actually, I have to say that I prefer it to be clear like this instead of do it secretly so nobody knows. They're letting you know what they're doing, and the world is watching. So this is part of World War IV, trying to stop the relationship between Venezuela and China and taking over their resource. And these are just some more pictures. I not I have to say that the Skipper, the ship that they took, was a sanctioned ship, but the Century, this one, was not sanctioned and it was full of oil. So that's worth $70 million, which was really stolen. So it's being put out there for us to see clearly what's happening. And I really feel like it's piracy, but we have to see how the relationships develop, and specifically Venezuela is in South America. And so the Caribbean and South America have facility. It's easy for them to do things together. I found some trade maps for the area too. And you're not there, but if you see the kind of devastation and what's happening, and some people in the Caribbean are saying in Patois that ain't fair, which means that is not fair. So it seems that they said Russia was also in Venezuela. We don't know what this stuff means because the big men don't explain everything to us. And this is the president of Venezuela. We really would like some fairness in the world, but Lucifer is working so hard that we don't know what's going to happen. So these are just some screenshots from the news, and some of the news is not truthful. But 60 years ago, the Americans came to Jamaica and they took bauxite and they did the IMF financial manipulation. So the Jamaican dollar was double the US dollar, and now the Jamaican dollar is 178 to equal one US dollar. So it was 155, now it's 178. My sister just told me. And Elon Musk said that USA took a PIECE of Venezuela. It's not about PEACE. So that's why we are concerned about the Caribbean. And the US military capacity is increasing, more automated, bigger, harder to defend. But we're helping Africa a little bit. Even though there was some unfairness, we try to tell them to put beautiful packaging in the value chain so that the products out of Africa, the African chocolate, will look like it's Swiss chocolate. So this is a flyer. I'll be taking this flyer to the bank also because people don't really understand. But These educated people, the professors and the doctors, can make you understand. You have to know the truth in order to know what to do. And this is the map of the Caribbean and South America. It's such a beautiful area south of USA. These are all the islands. I've spoken to all of them. I want people to think because I know we tend to go to work, go to our house, and go to the store, and we don't keep thinking. So I just want you to keep thinking. We're trying to be the custodians for the uplifting and united of the Caribbean and South America. We'll all have the skill set. We have developed videos with audits, and we do see that for Africa, the Caribbean, and South America, and other countries that were ruined by the IMF, that a reparation of US 275 billion would be fair because Bill Gates said 200 billion is owed to Africa and he was going to pay it. And John Bertrand Aristide, long time ago, said that Haiti was owed 21 billion. And then I calculated another 50 billion for the other countries hurt by the IMF. So I did the hard thing this morning. I went in the bank and tried to fix what people destroy. That's risk management. So Happy New Year in Dubai, and Happy New Year in China, and Happy New Year in New York. We all were celebrating. And in Abu Dhabi, that's one thing we do have in common. Thank you.